Michigan agriculture isn't spared from the governor's veto pen. There's a new soybean drying program available to producers this harvest, and Michigan Agricultural Commodities' Chris Betts has your market report. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
After weeks of political jockeying, a new budget is in place for the state of Michigan, but not without some 11th-hour changes. Governor Gretchen Whitmer used her veto pen to cut nearly $1 billion in spending and convened a seldom-used state board to shift around other funds. Among the biggest surprises impacting Michigan agriculture, the Michigan Alliance for Animal Agriculture lost all of its funding.
So in the Department of Ag and Rural Development, she vetoed $4.7 million. The brunt of that was for the Alliance for Animal Agriculture at $3 million. She also vetoed all of the funding for the MSU Farm Stress Program that they were hoping to get underway, as well as the County Fair's Capital Improvement Grant Program. And finally, conservation districts had a needs assessment included in the budget, and that was also removed. So at this point, the budget is done, and there is no funding for those specific programs. I should note that she also activated her state administrative board, something that's only been done one other time in the state of Michigan's history. That administrative board has the power to go through each departmental budget and move funds around within each budget. They did so under the agriculture budget as well, taking all of the funds from the Food and Investment Grant Program and reallocating them within the budget.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
Michigan Agricultural Commodities is offering a new soybean drying program for the 2019 harvest. The program is shrink only to 15% and then 5 cents per point after that, and it runs from now through October 15th.
For instance, shrink only to 15, and then let's say if you had 17% moisture and you brought it into the elevator, your total drying charge would be 10 cents. And so the charge doesn't start until 15.1. So basically it reduces the drying charge by an additional 10 cents or so overall for your total cost. So it does have an impact, and we hope that producers run those numbers and decide what to do from their marketing decisions with that.
Sutherland says there are 3 reasons the elevator is running this special program.
One, as we know, this has been a very challenging year. Delayed plantings, yield expectations are lower than you normally would be for soybeans. So we want an opportunity to work with producers to help them maximize the return on their soybeans. We felt that offering the shrink-only program would be an incentive to get out there a little bit early, get after soybeans that maybe are in 15, 16, 17% moisture. Don't wait to let them dry down more. You risk field loss. And there's an opportunity to plant wheat behind those soybeans once you get them harvested, which is another good opportunity for your crop rotation and securing some additional profits for 2020. The July futures for 2020 on wheat are over $5. And we think that wheat is still a very important part of the rotation, especially with reduced corn and soybean crop this year. It will be an additive incentive to plant wheat. It does help cash flow, especially for 2020. And I think it's a good way to spread out your risk. But again, the prices for 2020 are very attractive, and looking at forward contracting, once you get that wheat in the ground, I think it's just a marketing decision.
U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue announced the appointment of 20 members to serve on the advisory committee for new and beginning farmers and ranchers, including Mecosta County Farm Bureau's Amanda Jo Carey-Goodfellow. Since its inception, the committee has been an important part of the USDA strategy to engage, support, and service new and beginning farmers. Newly appointed members will serve 2-year terms.
Harvest season is a prime time for accidents. Educate your operators before they hit the road. Check out available resources at fosterswift.com/ag transportation.
Public comments are now being accepted on the 2020 drafts of the state's Generally Accepted Agricultural and Management Practices, or GAMPs. The GAMPs are reviewed annually by committees of experts, and proposed revisions are voted upon by the Michigan Commission of Agriculture and Rural Development. For those who wish to weigh in on the drafts, you can submit comments to MDARD by 5 p.m. on October 22nd or attend a public input meeting on that same day in East Lansing. And now with a look at the latest market activity, here is Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts.
Thanks, Janelle. Corn and beans have been supported by the USDA's revised stock estimates, which came in well lower than expected. Both corn and beans are suggesting seasonal lows have been put in as harvest drags on. Soybeans have also been spurred on by renewed Chinese buying of U.S. beans, this in the lead up to high-level trade talks set to take place later this month. China has secured most of its needs from South America during the ongoing trade war with the U.S., but signs are that South American stocks are dwindling. Recent purchases are a positive, but may be a sign of need rather than the Chinese are ready to make a trade deal. The rally in corn and beans stalled through the second half of the week as both found technical resistance. Funds remain decidedly net short in both, which leaves room for an extension higher, but questions of demand long-term remain, and a late-planned U.S. crop has not faced an overly threatening fall thus far. For more market information, go to meshag.com. With Michigan Agricultural Commodities, I'm Chris Betts.
For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com and the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.